Welcome to Football Therapy. Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you are all doing well today, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome to a kind of a Chelsea news video. We're really actually going to talk about two things. I do want to react to Chelsea's potential Champions League opponents in the next round, the round of 16. Incredibly exciting, some interesting opponents in there. But I also want to talk about the signing behind the scenes that may well have really contributed to Chelsea's positive change in form. Our unbeaten run of 16, 17 games now. Chelsea now defensively resolute, of course. Yes, new signings have helped out a great deal. But I do want to talk about the new coach, Anthony Barry, that Chelsea signed, that seemingly coincides perfectly with Chelsea's change in form. So strap yourselves in, get yourselves comfortable, pour yourselves a drink and subscribe only if you want to, because there's daily Chelsea F.C. content right here on Football Therapy. Brothers and sisters, please do drop a like on this video. Let's see if I can get over 3,000 likes. That would be nice. Please help me out, eh? Alright then, let's get into today's content. Before I reel off the teams that Chelsea could be potentially facing in the next round of the Champions League, let's talk about Anthony Barry, the coach from Wigan that's come to join Frank Lampard's coaching team. I'm going to talk about what he brings, why he's different, and why he's been integral to Chelsea's change in form. Barry was brought in to join Frank Lampard's coaching staff from Wigan. He was a very, very, very highly rated coach, and he came in to replace the exiting Eddie Newton. Now, off the bat, Anthony Barry is an incredibly highly rated coach, but also an incredibly highly rated man with a good social and emotional intelligence, the way he communicates with players. Now, off the bat, it's really important to note how different his perspective will be to Frank Lampard's coaching staff, and let me explain that. Frank Lampard is flanked by both Joe Edwards and, of course, Jody Morris. Both coaches have coached a very successful Chelsea academy teams that absolutely won everything. They cleaned up, they played a very offensive and attacking style of football, and because Chelsea's academy has such an elite quality of player, really they had never had any issue. They could be afforded to play this kind of football and clean up, like I said. Obviously, playing in the Premier League is a little bit different, and although they've got excellent attacking ideas, and that academy football has actually come into the first team in many ways, and Frank Lampard also wants to lead that style, they were left exposed on many occasions last season in transition, because the counter-attacking threat of the Premier League is obviously much more lethal than, say, academy football. Now, I don't mean this comment to be derogatory towards Jody Morris's and Joe Edwards' ideas. They are intelligent football coaches, but there needed to be some sort of external influence brought in to help balance things out for Chelsea Football Club. Enter Anthony Barry. Now, compare the two immediately. Chelsea's young, exciting, attacking coaches that are used to just being the best on the pitch, and Anthony Barry, who's come from Wigan, who's used to shoring up defences and preventing a team from getting relegated because the quality isn't quite there in comparison to the rest of the league. Marry the two together, man, and you have Frank Lampard's Chelsea 2.0. Of course, it's really important to note Thiago Silva, Chilwell, and Edu Mendy have all been integral also to Chelsea's change of fortune, bringing their individual qualities. But you can have loads of quality in a backline and still be naive and defensively frail. Last season, Chelsea's defence wasn't as good, but we had some horror shows defensively from naivety, tactical naivety. This season, and right now, if you compare Chelsea's current defensive mechanism to before, we very, very rarely have less than 3 players behind the ball when we're conceding a transition from the opposition. When the ball's being turned over and attacks coming through, suddenly Chelsea look ready for it. Remember last season, as soon as the ball was turned over, as a Chelsea fan, you were like, well, damn, they're going to score now. I just know what's happening. I can see it in front of my eyes. This season, when a transition is made, you don't feel like that. You feel a little bit more calm. And we've all said, oh, it's because Mendy's in goal. True, to a degree, but it's not because of just Mendy. It's because systemically, the frailties have gone, and that's largely down to the influence of new coach Anthony Barry. An external influence that's been At the other side of the spectrum in coaching football, and of course is a highly rated coach, Frank Lampard seemingly and his coaching staff were ready to make a transition in their approach. They did so, and they have not looked back since, and Chelsea are now defensively resolute. We could, achieve results like Manchester United 0-0, Sevilla 0-0, Tottenham, big games where Chelsea could have been slapped about in terms of the threat of the opposition, but now, defensively resolute, Chelsea can score goals, and now they're serious title contenders. Cool, so that is something I wanted to speak about with you guys. Hope you found it interesting. I certainly did when I looked into it a little bit more. Let's move on to the next part of the video and react to these potential Champions League opponents. Right, of course, Chelsea have topped the group. The Champions League is wrapped up. There are certain shock results. I'm sure you've all been keeping up with the competition. Very exciting indeed. The likes of Inter Milan not even qualifying for the Europa League, Manchester United dropping into the Europa League, Real Madrid doing well in the end, and lots of things going on. Incredibly exciting. So, who are Chelsea's potential opponents? Well, looking at my phone here, we have Porto, Lazio, Barcelona, RB Leipzig, Atalanta, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Atletico Madrid. So let's take a moment and go through each team, and I'll give you my opinion on these potential opponents. Starting off with Porto. Now, Porto would be, I suppose, one of the more favourable draws, obviously playing out in Liga NOS. A good team, a big team historically, but a team that we could beat right now. And if we drew Porto, Chelsea fans would generally be happy considering the other potential and possible opposition, and this probably would be one of the more favourable draws. Next up is Lazio. Now, Lazio is a weird one. They've gone from being in a title race to I'm not so sure. Of course, they've got the big man, Ciro Immobile up front, and they can score goals, and they are a good team. They might still fancy themselves riding a high from recent good performances in the last season or so, but I'm not sure they're riding the crest of the wave like they were. I think they had a chance to win Serie A. They didn't take it, and perhaps now they're dropping off a little bit. I know this could be famous last words from me, but honestly, in comparison to a couple of the others, I would not be disappointed if we drew Lazio. Next up, Barcelona. Now, of course, this is a really interesting one with Barcelona because they look quite poor of late, both in the league and, they got slapped about 3-0 by Juventus in the Champions League. The thing is with Barca, they've got a peculiar rivalry of Chelsea over the years in the Champions League, but last time we met them, we lost badly, didn't we? It was 1-1 at home, I believe, Stamford Bridge. Willian scored a goal under Conte, and then 3-0. I think Messi went from not scoring against Chelsea ever to scoring a hat-trick. So although they're in poor form, Barcelona have just got the players, haven't they? Even if Koeman doesn't seem like the one, they've got the players to hurt us, and I'm not sure this would be the most favourable draw. Next up, RB Leipzig. Now, this would be a dangerous one, I think. Of course, Nagelsmann's a very highly rated coach. They've beat Man United 3-2. They are a good team. They just drew Bayern Munich in the league 3-3, and we all know how good Bayern Munich are. So it is a little bit worrying. I think actually RB Leipzig would be one of the more deadlier of potential draws in my opinion, and I'd probably actually like to avoid them maybe, because they'll look at Chelsea as a sort of relatively still young and naive team and try and expose us with all their high octane attack. So if we could steer clear of Leipzig, I'd probably prefer that. Right, Atalanta. Atalanta are like a Hollywood story, aren't they? Their wage bill, I think just qualifying for this round, paid their entire wage bill for the year, I read, which is incredible. I don't know if that's true, you have to fact check it, but it's an incredible story. They play incredibly exciting football, but in the last game rather, of the group, they showed how they can have a defensively resolute performance. And although they are an exciting team and so everyone's favourite second team, a bit of Ajax like that, do you know what I mean? I think still, if you're going to be confident in the Champions League, you got to think, yes, we can beat Atalanta. So they're probably mid-range. I'd take a draw against Atalanta personally, and I'd be confident we can go and win that game ultimately over 2 legs. Next up, Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, a year or two ago, you'd be like, yes, please, I'll have a bit of that, but they've been really, really good. Granted, their last game in the group, they were disappointing, but they are an excellent team, and they've been proving that lately, and they're a team in form. So, although it's probably not the hardest of the group, it actually, on form, it's up there. It could be like one of. So, don't take Mönchengladbach lightly, man. And if we draw them, we've got to be seriously on our toes. And finally, Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone's boys. Jimenez in the centre-half position looking at Chelsea going, "Ooh, I want to join you boys next season." Seriously though, Atletico Madrid could win La Liga this season. They might even be favourites. I think they're 3 points clear with a game or two in hand. Something ridiculous. While Real Madrid and Barcelona aren't doing anything in La Liga, it's Atletico Madrid's to lose in my opinion. So what does that mean? Does that mean they'll be focusing more on the league than the Champions League? Possibly, but they're incredibly strong opponents, and some would argue in this group, if they're going for it, the hardest potential opposition. Especially for Chelsea, they might be looking to break on us and sit in deep, which they can do. João Felix, Suarez up front, you know the story, man. So that's an incredibly difficult draw, but that's how I feel about it. But I want to know how you guys feel about it. So make sure you get down in the comment section below and express your thoughts, feelings on this potential draw, man. What do you think? Who would you like? Get down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. If you've enjoyed the content today, please do drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 3,000 and beyond, man. That would be awesome. Subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.